The man who used to be my father gave my son a rock inside an iPhone box for his birthday. He smiled and said, "Only good boys get toys." Everyone laughed, but 30 minutes later, no one was laughing anymore, especially after I said, "Go on, open it, buddy." Dad pushed the white apple box across the table to my son, Max. The room went quiet like something magical was about to happen. Max looked excited. His little hands shook as he unwrapped the box. "Is it really an iPhone?" he whispered. "Open it and see," Dad said, smirking at me. I should have known. Max opened the box and froze. Inside wasn't a phone, just a dirty rock. A plain, ugly rock. Max stared at it, confused. "Is this a joke?" he asked. Dad leaned back in his chair, laughing loudly. "Well," he said, "only good boys get toys, isn't that right, Max?" The room was quiet for a moment, then everyone laughed. My sister laughed until she cried. My brother-in-law snorted into his drink. Even my mom chuckled. But I didn't laugh. Max didn't either. He just stared at the rock. His face got red. His shoulders dropped. He pushed the box away and looked at me, biting his lip. I knew that look. It was the same one I had when I was his age, when Dad used to do the same things to me. "Oh, come on," Dad said, waving it off. "It's just a joke." "Yeah," my sister added, nudging Max. "It's not your real present." But I knew the truth. There was no real present. This was the present, a rock in a box and a joke at a kid's expense. "Wow," I said, "you really outdid yourself." Dad shrugged. "Maybe next year he'll show some respect, then we'll talk about an iPhone." That was the moment something inside me changed. I looked at Max again. His head was down, his eyes were wet, and I felt something heavy and hot rising inside me. No more. I looked at everyone, my father, my laughing relatives, people who thought this was entertainment. They didn't know what was coming, but they would. And 30 minutes later, the room was silent. I wish I could say this was new, that Dad acting this way was a surprise. But no, this was typical. Growing up, he never hit me. His abuse came in sarcasm and shame, dressed up as a tough love. "Your brother's smart," he'd say. "You try, that counts for something." No matter what I did, scholarships, jobs, even building a business, it was never enough. I was always the disappointment. When I had Max, I hoped things would change. They didn't. Dad ignored Max, forgot his birthday. When he did speak to him, it was always mean. "You cuddle him too much," he said once. "I'm raising him not to become you," I thought. So when he handed Max that box with a rock, and laughed at him in front of everyone, I broke. "You know," I said, standing up, "you always pretend to be the strong one, the father, the leader, but really, you're just a coward in a cardigan." The room went quiet. My mom's eyes went wide. My sister choked on her wine. Dad stared at me. "Watch your mouth," he said. "No, you watch yours," I said. "You just embarrassed my son for fun, for control. That's not a joke, that's cruelty." I was joking. "No, you weren't. You've done this your whole life, picking on the younger ones, the ones who trust you." Max was still silent, holding onto his chair. I turned to the room. "You all saw it, and you laughed." Silence again. I smiled, but it wasn't a nice smile. "You want to hear something funny? I actually bought him a real iPhone. It's in the car." I let Dad have his moment. I waited. Gasps filled the room. "Yeah, I thought maybe he'd finally act like a real grandfather." I looked at my sister. "But you laughed, Emily. And you're a therapist. You should know better." Her husband looked confused. My mom tried to calm things down. "Can we not do this now? It's Max's birthday." "Exactly," I said. "And you all ruined it." I left, grabbed the real iPhone from the car, and came back. I handed it to Max. "This is from me, because you are a good boy. Don't let anyone say otherwise." He looked up at me. "Thanks, Dad." His voice cracked, and it almost broke me. Then I turned back to the room. "You had your show, now here's mine." I pulled out an envelope from my pocket and dropped it on the table. "What's that?" Dad asked. "It's the new power of attorney forms. You're not on them anymore." What? I'm done. The house you co-signed, the college accounts you were managing, it's all over. You're out. You can't. I can. And I did. My sister's husband turned to her. What accounts? Her face went pale. I saw panic flash across Emily's face. Yeah, I said. Maybe someone should have warned you. Guess who's been sneaking money from the family trust? Stop talking, Emily hissed. No, I said quietly but firmly. You stop. The room was completely silent now. Dad reached for the envelope like it might burn him. He didn't open it, he already knew what was inside. He always knows when he's been caught. You're making a mistake, he said through clenched teeth. This isn't how family handles problems. No, I said, icy calm. This is how a father handles it when his kid is treated like trash. I turned to Emily. Let's talk about the money you took from Max's college fund. You told the bank I said it was okay. She froze. I needed it for Ellie's therapy. No, you needed it for your yoga trip to Bali. You posted about it online. Healing my inner child. Funny, my real child's education paid for it. Her husband stood up. Wait, you took money from Max's account? She opened her mouth, but I kept going. $200. Gone. You forged my signature. I have the report. The bank teller even remembered you smiling while doing it. You're overreacting, she snapped, voice shaking. It's not like I emptied the account. You stole from my son. Don't try to play it down. Now my mom jumped in, fake tears ready. This is getting out of control. No, Mom. What's out of control is Dad using Max's social security number to open credit cards since he was 5. The room went silent. Emily sat down. Mom turned to Dad. What is he talking about? I dropped a folder on the table. 3 credit cards, all maxed out, all in Max's name, with your address. Dad went pale. You can't prove that. I already did. The bank's fraud team was very helpful once they realized it involved a child. You'll be getting a letter soon. I raised you, he said, shaking. And I trusted you, I said. And you used my son's name to fix your credit score. You pretended to be a proud grandpa while ruining his future. Mom sank into a chair. You've gone too far, she said. No, I said. You all did. For years, I was the family joke. Not as smart as Emily, not as charming as Dad. I paid for your holidays, your taxes, even your gifts, all hoping you'd see me for who I was, or at least treat Max better, but you dragged him into the same mess. Dad exploded. You bitter little man, you're doing all this over a joke? I laughed, raw, angry. No, I'm done pretending. This family broke a long time ago. I'm just showing everyone the truth. I pulled out my phone. What are you doing? Mom asked, panicking. Sending all this to my lawyer, and the bank's fraud team, and Child Protective Services, just in case they want to ask why my son's identity was used. Emily jumped up. You're insane. I looked at her. No, I'm finally sane. Max stood next to me, holding the real iPhone I'd given him. He took my hand. Can we go, Dad? His voice was small and steady. I nodded. As we walked out, Dad called after me. If you leave, don't come back. I stopped, turned around. You made that choice the second you laughed at my kid. Then I looked at the rest of them. I'm not your punching bag, I'm not your wallet, and I'm not your scapegoat. I'm his father. That's all I care about. And we left. Outside, in the cold, Max looked up at me and said something I'll never forget. I'm glad you're my dad. The fallout started fast. The next morning, a text from Emily, you went too far. Dad's furious. Mom won't stop crying. I didn't reply. By noon, the fraud department emailed. The investigation had started. At 3 o'clock, I got a call from a detective. Mr. Turner, this is Detective Ross from Financial Crimes. We'd like to schedule a formal statement about the identity theft. Boom. They thought I'd cool off, let it go. No, not this time. Within 48 hours, I filed a full report. I gave them everything, documents, screenshots, the birthday video where they all laughed at Max. They laughed at a child. They stole from him. Now we were going to court. A week later, Mom called. I let it go to voicemail. Please, let's fix this privately. Your father's not well. Emily's upset. Come over, we'll talk. I didn't listen to the rest. Then came a letter from Dad's lawyer. They were threatening to sue me for defamation. I almost laughed. You can't defame someone who handed a rock to a kid and told him he wasn't good enough. I called my lawyer. Let them try, she said. We'll crush them. She wasn't kidding. The trial was set for June. Civil court, fraud, identity theft, financial abuse of a minor. But for me, this wasn't just about justice, it was about the truth. Court day 1, packed room. Emily looked ghost pale. Dad wore his best suit. Mom wore sunglasses inside, classic drama. Their lawyer tried to call it a misunderstanding. Mr. Turner, he said, smiling, don't you think this is too much? I leaned in, steady. My son's name and future were used like a joke. Yeah, it's too much. That's why I'm here. The judge nodded. Let's begin. And we did. Day 2, financial records. Day 3, bank teller testimony. Day 4, security footage of Emily signing my name at the bank. She claimed I gave verbal permission. I had proof she lied. She crumbled on the stand. Then it was Dad's turn. They asked, did you open credit cards in your grandson's name? He hesitated. I don't remember. Wrong answer. The bank already confirmed it was his number used for verification. His signature matched. Game over. I played the final piece of evidence, a voicemail from my dad, recorded just 3 weeks earlier. It's just some credit cards, his voice said. He's a kid. He's not going to use the credit. What's the big deal? The courtroom went totally silent. Even my mom looked like she wished she could disappear. The judge gave the final ruling. Emily had to pay back the $2,200 she took from Max's college fund, plus a fine. Dad was fined too and put under investigation, not just for identity theft, but for elder fraud. The judge said the case should be sent to the district attorney. I was awarded $25,000 in damages. Most importantly, Max's credit was now locked and safe. The truth about my family was finally out in the open. As we walked out of the courthouse, Emily ran after me. You've destroyed this family, she said, angry. Do you even know what you've done? I looked at her calmly. No, you destroyed it. I just uncovered the mess. She didn't say anything, just stood there, shocked. Max looked up at me. Are we done now, Dad? Almost, I said. Just one last thing. That night, we went to the Apple store. I let Max pick out his own AirPods and a case. As we left, he whispered, it's not about the stuff. I know, I said, putting my arm around him. It's about respect. They used to call me a loser. Now they call me the only one who can save them. I thought it would be peaceful after the trial, a fresh start. But I was wrong. At first, things were calm. I focused on Max. Opened a new, protected college fund. Took him to Aikido. Read with him every night. He laughed more, slept better. That weight he used to carry in his shoulders, one I knew too well, was gone. But the past doesn't let go easily. The first sign came from my mom. She called at 6 a.m. Your dad's in the hospital, she said. Heart attack. He needs surgery. We can't afford it. The court took too much. He's asking for you. For Max. He regrets it, she said. Please just come see him. I hung up, and I didn't go. A week later, I got a letter from my aunt, one of the few family members who stayed out of everything. Inside was a newspaper clipping. Councilman Richard Turner hospitalized. Family struggles after legal issues. There was a GoFundMe link. Goal, $40,000. Raised, $3,200. Top comment, hope the son forgives him. Emily had donated $10. Her message, I hope he gets a second chance. As a father, as a grandfather. It was pathetic. A few days later, another call. Unknown number. It was my dad. I wasn't planning to answer, but something made me do it. Hey, son, he said. His voice was weak. I can't sleep. I think about what I did to Max. The rock. The look in his eyes. I thought it was funny, but it was cruel. Like I've always been. Long pause. I don't deserve forgiveness, but if you ever came by, I know it's not completely over, that maybe there's still hope. I answered him quietly. Max made a custom phone case. It says, "Only good boys get toys." That's clever, he said. I asked what it meant. He said it means bad grandpas don't get grandsons anymore. Then I hung up. I didn't call back. A week later, I found myself near the old strip mall where the birthday joke had happened. And I saw them. My family. Dad in a wheelchair. Mom beside him. Emily passing out flyers. "Help Richard Turner, family matters most." I watched from across the parking lot. Emily saw me, her face lit up. She ran over. "You came. I knew you weren't as cold as you seemed." I didn't say anything. "We were wrong, but we're still family." "No," I said. "We were a group where love came with strings, and money was everything. Now the thing you worshipped, status, power, is gone." "This isn't about money," she said. "Then why does your flyer have a QR code instead of an apology?" She flinched. I walked back to my car. Max was sitting in the passenger seat, watching. When Emily saw him, she waved. Max didn't wave back. Didn't even blink. He looked at her like she was a stranger. That's when I realized he learned faster than I ever did. We drove away. In the mirror, I saw my dad trying to stand, his hand stretched out like he could pull me back in time. But we were already gone. That night, Max and I sat in our little living room with popcorn and a movie. "Do you miss them?" I asked. He paused. "I miss who they could have been," he said, "but I'm glad I have you." My throat tightened. He leaned on my shoulder. I put my arm around him. And for the first time ever, I wasn't the failure. I wasn't the loser. I wasn't the one holding everything together for nothing. I was the dad who showed up. The one who said enough. The one who broke the cycle. I didn't lose a family. I built a better one.